So I love wine and I love great wine. So it's not a coincidence that we're at an excellent restaurant with a lot of wine behind me, and I picked up the wine list. And many of you who've been to nice restaurants start looking at the wine list, and you start looking at the left and the varietal and what country or state the wine is from. And then your eye tends to gravitate towards the right to that column of pricing. And you might see the first bottle of wine at $64. You're like, I'm not spending $64 on that. You see one for $32. You're like, maybe I'll do that, but God, I don't want them to think I'm cheap. And then you start seeing the 100s, 120, 200s, $300 bottles of wine. All of a sudden, the $64 bottle of wine doesn't seem that expensive. That, my friends, is price anchoring. It's not done by accident. It's totally on purpose. Because if you have something that's priced, maybe arbitrarily, most consumers don't know if that's a good price or not. They need to anchor it to something more expensive. Well, is that cheating? Are you telling your clients one thing and then trying to get them to buy something else because you're showing them a very high price? Well, maybe, but you can also price anchor with competitors' pricing. So Carlos does it all the time. Said, this is what insurance rates are like, but if you go to these competitors of mine, you'll be paying this much. All of a sudden, his price looks better relative to a competitor's price. So think about those things and how you can anchor your pricing compared to either your Cadillac price or maybe compared to a competitor's price. I'll tell you a quick story. It doesn't involve wine. William Sonoma in the 1990s introduced a bread maker to make bread at home. Well, at that time, nobody had bread makers at home. So they came out with a price of $275. Well, that was the 1990s. Is that expensive? Is that cheap? You get to make your own bread. That seems pretty cool. But sales weren't that great for this revolutionary bread maker at home. It wasn't until one of their product managers and marketing/sales gurus came up with an idea. They came out with a pro version, a professional, higher end, bigger bread maker for almost $500. That product didn't sell very well, but you know what did? The $275 bread maker started selling like crazy. Why? Because then people could anchor it compared to the very expensive one. So think about your pricing model. It doesn't mean that you have to be always lower than your competitor, but it does have to mean that if you present something to a client, make sure that that price is anchored against something higher so that they're more likely to buy your product or service.